Okay, moving on to the third and final part of lecture 18. Again, lecture 18, there is no quiz 18.3, but you're still going to want to know this. There's only a few slides here. Okay, so let's talk briefly about human nutritional requirements. So proper nutrition provides fuel for cellular work, right? We know that food plus the oxygen that we breathe can be broken down into water, the CO2 that we exhale, and ATP. So ATP fuels many cellular processes. It helps you to move your finger, it helps your heart to beat, it helps to move things in and out of your cells, right? It does pretty much everything. And without ATP, you quite literally would die. And recall that about 60% of the energy in the food that you eat is lost to the environment as heat versus harnessed as ATP. But food can also be used as a building material. Macromolecules in your diet can be partially digested, so we can recycle the monomer components, and then those monomers can be used to build the macromolecules your body needs. So it turns out we are able to convert some amino acids into other amino acids as needed. However, about 8 of the 20 amino acids are so-called essential nutrients, and that's because they must be consumed as part of our diet, because we don't have the enzymes necessary to build them from scratch or to interconvert from other amino acids. So animal proteins are called complete proteins because they can provide adequate amounts of all 8 of those essential amino acids. Plant proteins are generally known as being incomplete because they lack 1 or more of those essential amino acids. And so vegetarians generally need to eat a variety of plants in order to get all 8 essential nutrients. And the easiest way to do that, to get all the essential nutrients in a meal, is to combine a grain plus a legume. So this is really common in various vegetarian diets throughout the world, right? Rice and beans. The combination of a grain, rice, and beans, a legume, gives you all 8. Bread and peanut butter, right? Bread is from a grain, wheat, right? And peanut butter is a legume. Peanuts are a legume. Pita bread and hummus. Again, pita is wheat-based, hummus is from chickpeas, another legume. So if you combine these two, you can get all 8 of those essential amino acids. But of course, that's not it. You don't just need amino acids, you need other stuff as well. Humans also require water in their diet. Water makes up about 90% of animal cells, and humans should drink at least about 1 liter a day. That's about a quart of water every day. Humans also require carbohydrates. So we've talked about this before, right? They're the main source of energy, right? We take glucose and we can make ATP. Unrefined carbohydrates or whole grains are higher in bulk fiber, which helps to aid in digestion to prevent you from getting constipated, right? And this is things that include whole wheat bread or brown rice or whatever. And these are good, these are much better for you. And you definitely want to limit the amount of refined carbohydrates. These are things that have little to no nutritional value, things like white bread or candy or things like that, white rice, right? They've had these sort of nutritional components removed. Lipids can be another source of energy and also make up important components of our cell membranes. And it turns out there are 2 essential fatty acids that must be part of our diet because we are not able to make them. You may have heard of omega-3s or omega-6s. You make sure you get these in your diet. So they're part of your cell membranes because they are essential. And then, of course, proteins are polymers of amino acids, and the amino acids can be metabolized to form ATP, right? Or they can be recycled and used to build the proteins our bodies need. And now that's 3 of the 4 major macromolecule classes that we talked about earlier this semester. Which one is missing? Do you remember? Turns out nucleic acids, right? Carbohydrates, lipids, nucleic acids, DNA and RNA. We don't have to eat them. They are not requirements in our diet. Do we eat nucleic acids? All the time. You eat nucleic acids you've ever eaten a plant, you've ever eaten an animal, right? You've eaten nucleic acids. So you eat them all the time, but they're not required. And what I mean by that is that our body can take components of carbohydrates, take components of lipids, take components of amino acids, and build nucleic acids from them. We have all the enzymes necessary to build nucleic acids. We don't need to eat them, but we do need to eat carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins because we can't make all of those things, or we need them as a source of energy. So briefly here, vitamins are organic molecules that are required in our diets in small amounts. Vita kind of comes from vital, right? Turns out there are 13 vitamins that are essential to human health. And again, essential meaning they must be ingested because they can't be synthesized or built using the enzymes our bodies have. Most of these essential vitamins assist in enzyme function. That is, they help enzymes to perform their particular roles. You don't have to get these from the foods that you eat, although that's generally the easiest way. You can obviously supplement your diet by taking some kind of multivitamin to provide all of these back. It's better to have a very varied diet to get all these different vitamins and nutrients. That's the sort of healthier way, but it's better to take a multivitamin than to not get them at all. And then it's important to note that too much of some vitamins can actually be harmful as well, especially those that are sort of fat soluble. But we're not going to go into that in any more detail here. There are 21 additional chemical elements, and these are minerals, things that are not organic, right? They lack carbon, but they are required for human health. And some examples of those include calcium, that's required for bones and teeth, and that can be found in dairy products, legumes, and leafy greens. Sodium is important for nerve and muscle function, but it turns out the average American eats about 20 times more sodium than they need, right? So put down the potato chips, you have enough sodium, right? Iron is a component of hemoglobin, which does what? Do you remember what hemoglobin does? I like to talk throwback to the first lecture. Mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell, right? We talked about how mitochondria use the oxygen that we breathe and the food that we eat to make ATP to fuel our cellular processes. We'll talk about circulation in the next lecture, but hemoglobin is a particular protein that binds oxygen in our blood and helps to move it throughout our body so that the mitochondria and all your different cells have the oxygen that we need. And it turns out iron is an important component of hemoglobin. And then finally, magnesium is a component of many important enzymes like DNA and RNA polymerase and the enzymes involved in cellular respiration. So you got to have magnesium in your diet so that your enzymes can work. So it's sort of like an inorganic enzyme cofactor. Okay, so again, the best way to get sufficient levels of all of these is to eat a healthy and colorful and varied diet. But you can supplement with a multivitamin if you need to.